Hi, Vijay Mystery here. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to overcome the 7 challenges that directors face. What I've noted is there is a common pattern of challenges which directors and executives face. So let's go straight into what these challenges are and how you can overcome these. First and foremost, it's about relevance. Now, what I've noticed is that in many instances is that directors are not current. They are not having that relevance. They are still behind the changes which are taking place, or rather, they are not up to par with the accelerated changes. And here are some of the examples. When it comes to automation or technology-driven applications or outsourcing or some other aspects which are happening in your industry, in your sector, it doesn't matter whether you're a small, medium, large organization, but it's very important to understand and ensure you are current. So how can you be current? Obviously, one of the key places, and this is quite basic, is just go on Google and find out what's happening in your industry, but at the same time ensuring that you read the right journals and research material and get those deep insights, especially where technology is concerned, because the world is moving at a different pace altogether. So if you can even attend a conference or an exhibition or collaborate with some technological experts in your industry and sector who can give you certain insights as to what is really happening, it would really make an impact, and it would help you to not only raise your standards but to sort of take you to a different level altogether. Let's deep dive to the second point, which is signals. Now, when I'm talking about signals, this is very important. What I've noticed in some instances, especially there was this one particular board in the service industry where I was one of the board members, and what really happened is I noted that the directors were not really thinking through deeply. Now, when do you think through deeply is when you start finding out exactly what are the red flags and what are the signals. Rather than having a myopic or a tunnel vision view, it's important to look at instances with a multiple lens. Here's just a simple example, and there was a forecast for a particular project which was to be undertaken, and what was missing is the economic environment of another territory which was not really thought through properly. So you need to find out what are the catalysts, what are the signals out there internally as well as externally. In other words, make sure that you've covered complete ground before making any decisions, because it can be detrimental to the growth of your organization. So this is another key aspect and key point which you need to realize. Let's move forward to the third point, which is time. Now, my dear friends, you and I have 24 hours a day, and that's it. So what you need to really do is ensure that you use your time sparingly, ensure you use your time productively, ensure that you maximize productivity and elevate yourself, move to another level altogether, raise your standards, deepen your thinking as well. So how can you really do this? This is just a thought, and this is just a guideline I can share with you, is that every month or every 3 weeks, depending on the complexity and the size of your organization, figure out exactly, step out of what you are doing and come up with those time chunks as to what are the leverage activities in your organization. In other words, you need a clear distinction between what's happening at the top, what's happening at management activity level, and how the vision is translated into reality. But at the same time, see those activities which you can eliminate from your schedule, the passive activities or some activities which you can delegate to somebody competent enough to take over those duties, so you can step into a deeper leadership role. And that in itself is going to add exponential value, because you need to, besides being a director, you need to be a thought leader. You need to have that advanced thinking in place. You need to be world class, and in order to be world class, you need to ensure that you have that time to really go through and understand and ensure that you are picking the right signals, you're ensuring that you are making those right impactful and effective decisions. So this is very important. Your time is so important. So make sure you come up with a plan of revisiting your time schedule every 3 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever it is for you. But do that, spend at least half an hour, 1 hour looking into what you are doing and how you can eliminate some of the distractions, some of the passive activities, or you can outsource part of your duties. Let's move forward to the fourth point, which is board mix. Now, again, I reiterate, it doesn't matter whether you're a small organization, a mid-sized organization, or large organization. What I cite, and this was something, let me give you an example. There was this manufacturing organization, and it was a family-owned business. But what was happening is, besides having 1 or 2 external directors, the board mix was not really powerful enough. 1 or 2 of the family members had some shallow insights on IT. So this is technology-driven IT levels issues. But when it came to broader aspects and the maturity of discussions, the board missed certain core elements for them to move forward, for them to grow, for them to utilize the resources in its best possible manner. And in order to execute with discipline, what they needed was to ensure they pick up the right insights and have those constructive discussions in order to make the right decisions. And this was missing in this one particular board. So your board, whatever it is for you, you need to make sure that you have the right people on board. And here's a tip. Nowadays, look, it's good to have a face-to-face board meeting once a while. That's absolutely fine. But having somebody virtual as well. Look, I'm in London and I've served in boards in other developing countries, and in many instances it has been virtual. Just not face-to-face, but over Skype or some other virtual conference facility. Now, what I'm trying to get here is that find out and see what sort of board mix you need so that you can progress further, because 1 or 2 points alone can really add value 10x or 20x or 100x for your organization. So go back to the drawing board and find out if you have the right board mix. If you do have the right board mix, fantastic, that's absolutely brilliant. But if you see that there is some elements that is required, then I urge you to seek for that additional insights at that elevated level. Let's move forward to the next point, which is innovation. Now, my dear friends, and this is a challenge which I've seen many boards facing, and that is business as usual. They're not really innovating. They're not really progressing. They're not moving to the next level. They're not asking the right questions as well. So why does this happen? It's because they are already, I've seen organizations, they're already well positioned. They're making good profits. But at the end of the day, it's not only about that. It's about positioning. It's about gaining deeper market share. It's about understanding what the market behavior is. And innovation comes from insights. And where does insights come from? When you start asking incisive questions, when you start picking up those intelligence, a deeper level, a heightened level of intelligence altogether, is going to change everything for you. It's like being ready for tomorrow. That is the key challenge I've noticed in many organizations, where it's just passive thinking. It might just mean a simple tweak to the services you're providing to your clients or to your customers, or it might just be a simple sort of productization or packaging or whatever it is in your industry. But if you can make those tweaks and if you can test the waters as well, it's very key and crucial to ensure that you keep on scaling up. So it's very important, and impact will only be made through having that innovation in place. Let's move forward to the next point, which is immersion to altitude. My dear friends, what do I mean by immersion to altitude? Focus, laser sharp focus. moving and making sure you're connected from 50,000 feet down to ground level, understanding and ensuring the distinctions between governance or best practice or whatever you call it at the top is very key and crucial to ensure that you have the deep level of effectiveness. In many instances, I have noticed that directors have this shallow level of thinking, and in many instances I've also noticed that the discussions are not deep enough or not effective enough to really make the right impact. They would make an impact, no doubt, but to make the right impact, it's important to make sure that you fully immerse and understand what's going on. That is so powerful. Yet I see many directors at completely a shallow level. So see if you can change that. And finally, my final point, which is equally important, is drive. Without being enthusiastic, without having the drive, without having the vibrancy, without being dynamic enough, what's going to happen? You're not going to get the results that you want. And even if you do get the results, it means that you're not passion driven or you're not purposeful enough to really move the needle for the organization. You need to ensure that every single day you feel it in you and have that drive, have that energy, make that impact, make that move, and add traction to the whole process itself, rather than just having those passive discussions. And one thing that I don't like, and this is just my personal preference, which I'm telling you, is that whenever you're in a board meeting or an executive meeting or a setup or whatever, keep away from your smartphones. It's extremely distracting. Each and every distraction can cost 3 to 5 minutes of board time, basically. So you're losing out on value every time there is a distraction. Have those discussions, but they must be immersive enough. There must be that drive, there must be that energy, there must be that vibrancy in the whole board. Otherwise, it's pointless. It's not going to really add traction. It's not really going to move forward. So have those clear-cut intentions in place. So my dear friends, I hope you enjoyed this video on overcoming the 7 challenges directors face, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you very much.